Well, let's talk about another hot topic, and it's a fresh one because the council dealt with it last night, and that's the proposed consolidation of the city and the town. Council President Charlie Mallow indicated when the council tabled indefinitely the setting of a public hearing that consolidation now between the city and town was dead. Councilperson Kathy Briggs countered that no, it wasn't. She had a different view, didn't think that the outgoing council president should be selecting people to sit on the Joint Commission. But having said all of that, will consolidation happen, and will you, Frank, if you are reelected, continue this consolidation process? And Phil, to you would be, if you are elected, will you do it? And Frank, we'll start with you on this one.
My answer to that is absolutely yes. As with Councilperson Briggs saying that, once she gets through some of the issues that she feels are important at this present time, that she would be interested in revisiting, that's 4 votes, because there were 3 of us that were ready to move yesterday. I think that we have to take every chance we can to save taxpayers money. The message I get from the people I talk to is that they're being overly burdened with taxes. Now, my personal feel is we have too many governments in New York State. That through the history of New York State, we have all of these governments. Genesee County alone, I forget has how many. At one time I knew 17, some ridiculous number. There's a lot of redundancy. We talk about snowplows going to one point and having to stop so that the next township or municipality can come in and pick up and go. There's a lot of waste. I said it at yesterday's council meeting. People talk about, well, let's collaborate more. Certainly we want to collaborate more. But the ultimate collaboration is consolidation. Let's eliminate redundancy totally. Let's talk about a single government unit that directs all of the departments and minimizes expense and maximizes revenue. I also want to say quickly, because I want to certainly make sure Phil has time, that I think it was a good point, at least in my mind, that being sort of a pioneer in this area is good for this community. I think we'll get some publicity out of it. I think that's good publicity that may attract who knows what to our community. I think it's important. I think it's timely. I think it has to be done. But more importantly than that, I think the citizens of this community, and I hope the township, are looking at saving as much money as they can and being as effective as we can.
Phil, your thoughts on consolidation?
Well, absolutely, and echoing one statement that Councilman Ferrando said is that, I mean, I've walked around since summertime, and I'm hearing the same exact thing. People are just devastated by their tax burden and the amount that it's even increased over the past couple years. The reality is, absolutely, yes, I support consolidation 100%. I believe there are ways to do it, and I believe we've touched on some really great starting points for consolidation, but 100% we have to consolidate. There are, within our own city and then with the town, there are opportunities everywhere. And we have to do that. We have to look internally, and we have to correct a lot of issues that I see right within our own city borders with departments that we have, right-sizing staffing levels and getting us where we need to be. And then, of course, we have got to consolidate out with the town. I believe that to be a no-brainer. That's something we have to do. But to make it work correctly and get everybody really on board, I think there's some things internally within the city that we have to do as well. Do I think that means we should halt the process that has been started? No, and I agree that last night, I believe there was a vote there to be had to keep the process going. I see that as something that has to be done. So yes, if I am elected on, consolidation will be something that I'm definitely pushing for.
The candidates appearing with us this morning are Frank Ferrando and Phil Ricci. They are candidates for Batavia City Council at large. There are 6 candidates total seeking 3 seats, and it is the top 3 vote-getters who are elected. We don't want to leave the impression that Phil and Frank are necessarily going at it head-to-head, but if they did, they would do so politely. But it's possible the 2 could be elected. It's the top 3 vote-getters out of the 6. And with our next question, the publisher of the Batavian, Howard Owens.
Thank you, Dan. So sort of hitting on the tax issue and consolidation, and this may be, if there is a third rail in Batavia politics, this may be it. Police and fire, the largest portion of the budget, the biggest expense. Phil, we'll start with you. What's the future of police and fire? Do you think voluntary firefighters are a possibility? Should police be consolidated with sheriff? Or do you think it's acceptable to what we have now? Do you think that's the best option?
Well, let's start by talking reality and numbers. You can't have a discussion about tax relief without identifying our two largest costs. That's reality. 60% or better of our budget comes from these two departments. So if we want to talk about serious tax relief, then we have to seriously have a conversation about making decisions about those two entities. So let's talk about it. I've done a lot of research. I've talked with individuals who are subject matter experts in the field, and here's a couple options. Now, is this the best answer? I don't know yet, but these are avenues. Across the entire nation, there are police forces that are merged with county entities, and they have what is known as metro units. Metro units are basically identified populace where you establish set areas where those entities go through. The police, the sheriff's department set units, patrols, everything like that. They're dedicated. The rest of it is, of course, spread out throughout the county as normal. What they've noticed is when they've done these consolidations is that safety levels have not gone down. Reaction times, report times, all of it has maintained, or in some cases even improved, because you hadn't had to call in extra bodies and everything else. There was less coordination to get the job done. If we do something like that, there are obviously savings. Now, here's the thing. This is a scary topic, because when you get into talking about this, people start thinking immediately, I'm not going to be safe. I'm going to need somebody, no one's going to be there. There's a practical way, pragmatic way to get there for both police and fire. And I believe there are answers in both police and fire to accomplish this. To keep our populace safe, maintain our security levels and safety levels exactly where they are, if not better, be respectful to the police officers and the firefighters that have kept their space safe all these years, and be fiscally prudent. The big thing to understand about this, it's more than just a consolidation or a right sizing of staffing levels. When you do something like this and you actually show that kind of progressive thought and you lower the tax rate, not only do you open yourself up to other things, other businesses coming through, but you give a sense, just like Frank said, of that ability to go out there and say, we are a progressive community. We're doing the things to make it safe for our community to be here and live here comfortably, but also entice new business to come in. And that's part of this. So yes, Howard, the answer to bluntly is, there are two ways, and I believe that there's a consolidation of ability, a way to do that for the police force, and also later on down the line with the fire department to right-size levels, go to maybe a paid callman, do it with a full-time staff, paid callman staff, and those are all options. They're viable. They work across the nation. I think it's something